Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Green Party does support the amendment by Grant Robertson to make sure that details are provided to students' associations of the people who might become members or people who are members. I think that's critical. I think if you look at other associations and unions and professional associations, that part of the standard arrangement, particularly in these days where people are quite mobile and changing address and all the rest of it, is that the employing agency often provides those details to the association or union, and I think that's the appropriate thing. So the Green Party will be supporting that amendment. It's interesting to look at the, Heather Roy talked about way back, I don't know, it'd be interesting to know how far back student unions were voluntary. Of course, tertiary institutions and universities have undergone a lot of changes. At one time they were very much elite organisations, and I imagine that the students' associations had to battle for recognition, battle for rights, battle to get a more comprehensive membership, etc. And there's been a very positive evolution over the years. I was just the speeches earlier prompted me to think back to when I went to the University of Canterbury many years ago and joined the Students' Association, as I think everyone did at that stage. And the services provided were not terribly wide-ranging, if I recall correctly, compared with today when you go to a university and there's all sorts of counselling services and a myriad of services available to students that weren't previously available, and that is a step forward, that is progress. And now that it seems that after this bill we might be going back where there's less provision of services by student unions, and sometimes that slack will be taken up by the university administration as a whole in a less adequate way probably, and as the other speakers have pointed out, those services won't be under the control of the Student Association and won't be informed by the Student Association, which better understands the needs of students in order to shape these particular services. And I think it is important, particularly for sometimes students are a bit alienated from, they mightn't necessarily join the student union first off. If it's a voluntary system, they might be a bit alienated and only there for certain lectures or whatever, and but they're often the very students that get into trouble, financial trouble, emotional trouble, need professional help, need the student services and the community of the Students' Association to support them, and they might be the very people who miss out. And to have a well-resourced Students' Association will help enable everyone to be part of the Student Association, everyone to understand they have access to the services because they're being informed of them perhaps all the time, and with modern communications and emails and all the rest of it, and lead to a much better situation for individuals and the Student Association as a collective entity. So all round, I can't see why we're trying to change the status quo. I haven't really heard an argument why we need to make this move, except if there's a political agenda. If there's a political agenda to weaken the political heft of students that is currently in evidence through students' associations, and that's very important because universities and students in particular are often the conscience of society. And you see all the ex-Students' Association officials around this room, and you'll see that they're very much a contribution to our democracy, and if we knock off that channel of people into public life and into Parliament by weakening these Students' Associations, we'll have a much less informed and vibrant society, and indeed Parliament. Thank you.
Call to Euro Flavel.